Oh yes, Future Quest. I've definitely been wanting to talk about this for some time now. So, Future Quest is the big crossover between all of the old Hanna-Barbera superheroes, produced by DC, of course, because Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera and all that, so it's a whole thing. Anyway, you get like Space Ghost, the Herculoids, Birdman, Johnny Quest, you got Dino Boy, which is very surprising. I don't even know if many people know what Dino Boy is. Mitor, and you got Frankenstein Jr., like there he is right there. The Galaxy Trio, and like I said, like with Dino Boy, there's a lot of very surprising inclusions in this comic series, like the Impossibles, the friggin' Impossibles is in this, and if unless you're like you watched Hanna-Barbera quite a bit as a kid, you probably don't even know who the Impossibles are. But yeah, I found out about this, and I was very, very excited to read it. And this is like my current favorite comic book out right now, and I've been as you can see, this is the first 7 issues, and these are the ones that I've been reading and actually anticipating every month to read, and I've been just really into this one, and I definitely wanted to have some time to talk about it. The plot of the comic so far is that there's this giant, like, cosmic horror that is this shapeless looking ball of, I guess, energy, and it's causing disruptions in reality and time, and that's pretty much how a lot of these characters come together. And there you can see it messing with reality right there. You see all the different Hanna-Barbera people. There's Mitor, there's the Herculoids, there's Space Ghost, there's other ones. I think that's supposed to be the Galaxy Trio right there. I think that's Shazam. Yeah, not to be confused with DC's Shazam, but the giant genie guy, which I actually I didn't really like all that much. I thought he was kind of a just arrogant jerk. But yeah, this is pretty much the storyline for this comic, and you can see it cause all kinds of distortions. Like there you see, there's a great shot of a lot of the Hanna-Barbera guys. One thing that I really liked about this comic is that it did something that the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons didn't do. It gave some backstory for a lot of the characters. Like there's Space Ghost. Apparently he was part of some kind of... It almost reminds me of like the Green Lantern Corps, but it's this is separate from like the DC universe. And you can see even like how he gets his power... his bracers, where his power comes from, it's very, very similar because he gets them from one of the members of the organization who's dying. And there you see him right there. You've never seen Space Ghost without his hood before. It's very weird. He doesn't even have eyes. I just noticed that. It's so weird. And right here is where they show Birdman and how he got his powers. Apparently he was an archaeologist, and he went to Egypt, and he, I guess, studied some artifacts or something, and it gave him, he gets his power from Ra, which makes a whole lot of sense considering, you know, his wings and how he gets his power from the sun. By the way, his name is actually, I was kind of disappointed. I thought they would name him Harvey, but I suppose they wanted to distance themselves from any unnecessary comedic moments in this comic. But his secret, or I guess not a secret identity, but his real name is Ray Randall, which does make a little bit of sense. And there you see Falcon 7 over there. And you know, even though this is supposed to be played straight, I still read his lines in the voice of Stephen Colbert from the Harvey Birdman show. It's so hard not to. I'm sending you the coordinates and nothing more. Oh, Stephen Colbert. And yeah, I really like how they include a lot of the lesser known Hanna-Barbera characters. Like, I think everybody knows Birdman and Johnny Quest and Space Ghost. I don't know if as many people know the Herculoids, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, there you see Dino Boy and Ugg, because nobody knows who they are. There's Mytor right there. I love what they did with Mytor in this comic too, and I'll also get to that in a minute. Let's see, where are they? Where are they? Yeah, there they are right there. Nobody cared about this cartoon, but they integrated it fairly well. I gotta give them credit. Also, there's Frankenstein Jr. There he is right there. Really cool. I kind of like Frankenstein Jr. He's kind of reminds me a little bit of like Gigantor, like the old school giant robots. Gotta love him. We also get to meet his creator, who is the kid's name was Buzz, and it was actually his mother that built Frankenstein Jr. Sorry, which is another really cool thing because they introduce a lot of really neat new characters, like this girl right here who is, I think, some kind of government agent. Here's another really cool character they introduced, Cobalt, who's this character that they put in with the Impossibles, and I still can't believe they actually put the Impossibles in this comic. It's so ridiculous to me, because this was probably the silliest of all the things that they could have included, because the Impossibles was just a ridiculous show. But they actually did a really good job. They explained their backstory and everything, and they introduced this girl whose name is Cobalt, who I'm pretty sure is completely new. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like some kind of Z-list obscure DC character that they decided to just throw into this, but she does a really good job. They integrated her very well, and they have all this weird, disturbing stuff, which all ties in with their backstory. But I'm gonna try not to reveal too much about what all this is. I do want to reveal one thing about this, because even though they had they established time, tears in time and everything, and that's how a lot of characters like Ugg got into this universe. They could have did that with Mytor, but rather than that, they kind of did more of a passing of the torch type of thing, and this is kind of a big reveal for the comic, so unfortunately I have to spoil this, but when they were going through these old artifacts, this kid finds Mytor's club, and he becomes the new Mytor. And actually, I like that Ugg knows who he is too, which is really cool. And his cat becomes a saber-toothed cat, which I really like this. I kind of like how they did this. This, though, right here is one of my favorites, because they actually go into the backstory of the Herculoids. And the Herculoids was actually my favorite of the Hanna-Barbera superhero teams, because I don't know, I just really I love the fact that they had like animal companions that had all these powers. Like Tundra was my favorite, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. I love Gloop and Gleep. They're really cool. I love Igu, and Zoc is in here somewhere. They also have the Galaxy Trio, of course. There's Gravity Girl. There's Meteor Man, I think, isn't it? Wasn't that what's his name's character from that stupid movie? But I don't know. There's Vapor Man. Yeah, they haven't really done much with them yet, but I have a feeling it's going to happen soon. And here's the one thing I don't like about this comic. They killed off Tundra. Tundra was my favorite of the Herculoids, and they killed him off, and God, I was very upset about that. This is issue 2. They actually did that in issue 1 as well. You see Space Ghost meeting Johnny Quest, although this doesn't last very long. What I'm trying to get to here is, or was this not in this comic? Actually, hang on, it was in this comic. They actually go into the backstory for the Herculoids, and they show why they were on this planet, because it always felt weird to me that they were just the only humans on this planet, and they did have technology, because I remember in a few episodes they actually had a spaceship that they had to travel to a couple places with, and occasionally their planet would get attacked by some kind of crazed like robots and things like that, and they kind of go into the backstory for Gloop and Gleep too. I love this. Like I geeked out really hard with this comic, and there's Zoc right there. Yeah, I love not too big of a fan on the redesign of the face, but Zoc is cool. Yeah, there they go right there. It's one of my favorites. They had action figures, and I gotta like track those down too. Oh yeah, there's also like the Flintstones comic. I hear that one's actually really good, and they have the Scooby-Doo one, which I've heard good things about. Yeah, I really like this. Like I said, this is my current favorite comic out right now. And if you were like a fan of the Hanna-Barbera shows when you were a kid, and even if you thought they were stupid, like this really does some justice to them. I won't reveal too much, but all I will say is this right here. This is how you reboot. You take something ridiculous and stupid and not taken very seriously at all, and you make it awesome. You improve upon it. This is how it's done. And I love how they give backstory to a lot of characters. I don't know if like backstories were ever established for any of these characters. I don't think in any of their respective cartoons it was. Maybe it existed somewhere else. But yeah, I love like everything about this. With the exception, of course, they killed off Tundro. But I guess the only other thing I kind of don't like about it is it does feel very slow, because I mean, I've got 7 issues here, and maybe I'm just impatient because I've never really it's been a very long time since I've had to just wait for issues of a comic to come out to read the rest of it, and it's all pretty much leading up to just a big team up of everybody, and I can't wait for that to happen. But yeah, I really wish I hadn't known about this so soon. Otherwise, I would have just waited for them to print a trade or something and just read the whole thing at once. But yeah, I absolutely dig this comic. This is one of my favorites, and highly recommended if you, even if you don't really care much for Hanna-Barbera, I think you'll still like it, because it's not all that different of like the Justice League and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to try and integrate some of these characters into the DC universe. That would be very interesting. But as it stands right now, as its own thing, it's really good. Highly recommended. So yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't already, and leave a comment and let me know what you think.